So when you think about resistance from somebody, you know, a bad situation, difficult conversation, or have that person didn't respect you, how did you deal with that?
So, I mean, public sector compared to the private sector, titles do matter. However, it doesn't mean that you get the respect with the title. Right. And oftentimes, what I find is that I'll be in a room and people won't realize that I am the decision maker at the table. That happens all the time. And so I relish that, actually. So
let them dig their hole.
And sometimes my staff will be like, no, well, she's the assistant secretary. That's who you should be speaking to, not me. So that sort of happens repeatedly, and I relish that. But in terms of the question that you asked, it started actually earlier in my career in the private sector. What happened was, I'd worked for a company for many, many years. I helped, you know, basically change a lot of things, helped bring millions of dollars into the company. Even on my maternity leave, I came back early to help with interviewing, to get people on board. And when my daughter was born, she has a mild case of cerebral palsy. And so I needed to have some extra time to care for her. And I wanted to work part-time from home, just half a day per week. I was told no, that I couldn't do that. Or if I wanted to do that, I could relinquish my management position. And I said, that really doesn't sit right with me, that I did all this work for this company. I was one of the top leaders in the organization. You know, I came back early when I was on maternity leave because this is what we do. We tend to do this as women. I came back in to help, and when I actually am asking for just a little bit of leeway, and I have delivered for you, that you won't even consider it. And so during that journey, and that was very early on in my career, that's what really helped me. So what happened in that, and I'll share the story with you because it really helped shape my journey. The vice president of the company said no. I was not happy about it. I went to the HR department. I said, you know, this is not good. The head of HR went and talked to the VP. The answer was still no. And then they sat me down and they said to me, Celia, I think that you should go and talk to the VP yourself. You should bring your story to him and you should advocate for you. I thought they were leaving me out in the cold initially. I said, you want me to go in there myself with the vice president of the company? I'm like, that's not supporting me. I thought you were HR. You're going to support me in that conversation. They said, nope, we've watched you as a leader here. We think you have a compelling story, and we think that you're the best person to have that conversation with the VP. He was an older guy, you know, good old boy, and rah, rah, rah. So I said, okay. I went in and I spoke with him. And I basically said to him, you know, I was really honest, but in a professional way, but I stood my ground. And I said to him, I said, you know, what's really disappointing is that the workforce here is a lot of women. And his reason was, I don't want to do that because I don't want to set a precedent. I said, that's the wrong mentality. Because the workforce is already a lot of women in the workforce, and just looking at the data that was going to change, why not be a trendsetter? Why not embrace so that you can have more successful and rewarding employees working for this organization, which is going to impact your bottom line, which is what at the end of the day you care about. Right? And you're going to impact your customers. And I said, I just think that you are not willing to change, and you're stuck in your, the way I said it, I forget how I said it to him, but essentially I said, you are stuck in your old ways of thinking. And in order to lead an organization, going into the 21st century, you really need to think broader. And I just basically said what I had to say, and he listened to me and said, thank you, and I walked out the door. He later called me back in, like a couple of days later, and he said, for the first time, you've really challenged me in how I'm thinking. And I appreciate you coming to talk to me on your own. And I appreciate in you stepping up and not accepting the answer that we gave you. I'm willing to do a trial period for 6 months. If it works, no problem. I said, listen, I will be the first to tell you if it's not working. That's the kind of employee that I am, because I want this to be a win-win. And so I took on the challenge. I was able to care for my daughter because we need to get people in the house. She was seeing PTs and OTs, and she had a team of people around her since she was born. And I was able to successfully manage, and we actually had record results throughout in terms of profits, because my department was a profit center. And till this day, I have women that work in that organization, and then they've told me that since that time, that has helped to relax them, and they were able to take advantage of working from home. So that was, again, pushing against the status quo, not accepting it, but politely really pushing your case and advocating for yourself, I think is really important.